We've had some voices speaking out against the police in Ferguson, Missouri, that are somewhat unexpected, but certainly welcomed. So a lot of politicians released statements or tweeted about the Michael Brown killing or about the subsequent protests or the militarized police response to the mostly peaceful protests. But Rand Paul actually kicked it up a notch and wrote a scathing editorial in Time about the situation. He says, quote, "There is a legitimate role for the police to keep the peace, but there should be a difference between a police response and a military response. The images and scenes we continue to see in Ferguson resemble war more than traditional police action." He continues, "The militarization of our law enforcement is due to an unprecedented expansion of government power in this realm. It is one thing for federal officials to work in conjunction with local authorities to reduce or solve crime. It is quite another for them to subsidize it." That's a great line. What he's saying is the government is subsidizing crime because the police are committing crimes by shooting rubber bullets and using tear gas on peaceful protesters and everything else. Now, that's good enough from a fucking Republican politician, libertarian, or some people would argue libertarian-ish. But he even actually went on to address the issue of racism. He says, quote, "Given these developments, it is almost impossible for many Americans not to feel like their government is targeting them. Given the racial disparities in our criminal justice system, it is impossible for African Americans not to feel like their government is particularly targeting them. Anyone who thinks that race does not still, even if inadvertently, skew the application of criminal justice in this country, they're just not paying close enough attention." Got to give him credit, man. Credit where credit is due. Rand Paul is 100% right. Race is the underlying factor here, okay? And we have a racist criminal justice system. The statistics prove it. I mean, if a black man and a white man commit the same crime, a black man is much more likely to get the death penalty as a result of that crime. There's no other factors here. All things being equal, we're talking about. So, yeah, that's a fucking problem. We've had an epidemic of young black men being killed within the past few weeks. There was a 22-year-old black kid in Walmart holding in a BB gun, an air gun that he was considering buying. He got gunned down by cops. There was a story from yesterday or 2 days ago coming out of L.A., a mentally challenged kid laying on the curb with his hands up got basically executed from police. It's unbelievable. It's fucking unbelievable. And what Rand Paul is saying is, let's acknowledge that race is a problem here, and people are fucking shoving their head in their sand if they don't think that we have a racist criminal justice system. And he's also saying, look, the militarization of the police force is the problem. Like we discussed yesterday, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if you have these cops that are dressed in military gear and using this armament which is meant for Afghanistan, well, yeah, they're going to act like that. They're going to shoot rubber bullets at peaceful protesters. They're going to use tear gas the second they think they can. I mean, we discussed it yesterday. Did you know that in 1990, there was a program, there's a government program where they were funneling $1 million a year to give former military equipment to police departments around the country. It was $1 million a year back in 1990. You know what it was by 2013? $450 million. This is ridiculous. We've made our police officers a military, an invading military. That's not okay. That's not what their job was. That's not what it's supposed to be. How have we gotten so perverted on this? And look, you know how that manifests itself? You're 29 times more likely to die from a police officer than you are to die from a terrorist attack in the United States. Isn't that an incredible fact? We sit there, we're all worried about the boogeyman of the Middle Eastern terrorist, the Muslim terrorist, but that's not the one that's actually going to kill you. You're 29 times more likely to die from somebody wearing all blue with a badge.